So if you will, I've sent you a link on Google Classroom. Go over to Google Classroom. I'm going to start sharing my screen so you can see. Go over to Google Classroom and you will notice that there is a link and an invitation for you to join me in the virtual classroom, which looks like this. So this is our virtual classroom, and what I've done for you today is I've pinned the Newsela poster from the board over onto the wall, just so you have access to Newsela. It takes you right there to where you need to access it for your assignments. We also have something new on the presentation board today. That new thing is your literature textbook, which we'll get into in just a minute. Do not click a link yet. And on the bookshelf, I have added for you a digital notebook. Now, I'm going to talk to you first about accessing the digital notebook before we get into the textbook, because you'll have to know how to use your digital notebook today. So what I want everyone to do is I want everyone to click on the digital notebook, and it's going to open up a Google Slides presentation for you. You're going to see a slide deck that is not editable. You can only view this. So what's the purpose of that, you ask? Well, because it needs to live on there and no one needs to be able to edit it, so you can access it and get the original copy. And this is a copy of mine. And we'll just take, I removed that from my Google Slides recents, so it asked me to remove it from the trash. Yours won't be in the trash, but when you access this file, the very first thing you need to do is you need to go up here to where it says copy of Mr. Staten's digital notebook, and you need to change that. You need to change the name to your name instead of mine. Erase the word copy and of, and put your name, digital notebook, and you can even put your class period on there. Third period, fourth period, third, fourth period, however you want to name that. Doesn't matter, as long as you got your name on there and it's a digital notebook. But to make it easy on you, you might want to put third, fourth period. Or you can put your name instead of copy of. You can put whoever's name you are, I guess I can say. Bart Simpson's Mr. Staten's digital notebook. Or erase the entire thing and put Bart Simpson's digital notebook for Mr. Staten's third period. I don't care, as long as it indicates that it's yours instead of mine, and it belongs to my class, and that it is your digital notebook. Okay, so once you get that finished, you will have a copy of this presentation, and then it will be editable. You should be able to go in now, erase the other one, open up the new one, go down and make a copy of the entire presentation. Actually, you know what? You should have done that before you changed the name. I can change the name. You probably cannot. The reason you cannot is because you didn't make a copy. My bad. Go to File, Make a Copy, Entire Presentation. It will open a new presentation in your window. Then you can change the name. That's what you do. My fault. Go down, Make a Copy of the entire presentation, because that will allow you to make it editable. Editable means all these little tools will open up and you'll be able to like add text boxes and stuff. So go to File, Make a Copy, Entire Presentation. Once you get there, then you can change the name. Change the name to your name, digital notebook. Okay, that's the go-to file name. Your name, digital notebook. All right, So from there, then you will have access to the digital notebook. I'm going to make it a little bit larger so that you can see what it is that I'm doing. But on this nameplate, once you make a copy and you save it as your own, then you can start adding text boxes to the labels. So I've given you a label here. I've also given you some dividers that you'll appreciate a little later. But you can add a text box to the label so that you can put your name and your class period. That's the first thing I want you to do to your digital notebooks today. First name, class period. Again, once you open My Copy, you have to go to File, Make a Copy, Entire Presentation. That will open up an entirely new version in another window. You can close out the old one. And then you can go to this text box panel up here. And you can rename it to suit you. So put your name, digital notebook. And once that's all said and done, then start to edit it. You can add by inserting a text box from the Insert tab, or there's a shortcut. You can put your text box there. And let me figure out who is not muted. I'm going to mute you real fast. I think it was Trace. Okay, so once you add that, then you're good to go. So I'm going to start presenting this to you so you can see what it is. So in present mode, you're going to notice that this becomes very interactive, and that's the important thing about this interactive notebook. Right now, you're in the edit mode. So this is your reel for your slides. This whole thing's called a slide deck, but this is your reel. And as you go down the reel, you can see that I've given you just color-coded copies of all the things that should be in your book. Now, this is all blank. So you're going to notice that you have blank sheets of paper and you have tabs. You're going to start to add things to this now that we've learned how to manipulate Google Slides and all that stuff. So you were gearing up for this. This is going to be part of your class assignments, and this is going to be where grades start to happen. The very first thing you put in here will be something that will go toward your first story that we're going to read starting tomorrow. But what you do is you click on present, and that will actually make it viewable. And then all the links and stuff will work. So you can navigate and get where you need to go. So this is the presentation mode. And as you can see, I formatted it to be like an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So if you ever needed to print this out and turn it in, which is possible, I always have writer's notebooks in my class. They're not always digital, but they are interactive. What that means is we take like scissors and glue, and we take comic strips and we glue in and talk about them, or we'll take pictures to discuss and we'll glue in and talk about them, write something down, and then we'll pair share. I call it think, write, pair, share. So we think and then we write and then we pair up and we share using elbow partners. Okay, so we'll do that in this sort of a setting too, in this virtual setting that we're in. We will think, we will write, and then we will pair up into breakout rooms and we will share. So it's sort of a similar activity that we're looking forward to. So how does this work? Well, this interactive notebook is just that. It's an interactive notebook. It lives on Google Docs, or I mean your Google Drive, and it works like this. This is the cover page. Each individual divider will take you to another section of the notebook. So let's say that all of your bell ringers live in the tan section, and you want to access your bell ringers. Then you click the tan section, and it will take you to that particular divider so that you can then go down in the menu, or you can just click on the book, and it will scroll through the pages. This is the first and second page. I'm actually going through different pages right now. You can't tell. It's not changing because there's no text. But if there were text on there, this would change. But this is an exact replica of the slide before, so you're not seeing any change on your screen. But I've actually gone through about 4 pages right now. And when you're done, it either takes you to the next divider, Or I'll go back. You can go back to that divider by using the navigation tools that I've built in to your notebook. So you can go to the divider. From there, you can get back to the cover so that you can access other dividers. So let's say the coursework we're talking about for a story are all in the green section, because all the conflict stuff we're going to talk about, that's all going to be in green. So you're going to click on green. You can add a heading to the name tag here, or to the label. And you type something like conflict in there. Now you can't type on here. If you click on this to try to type it, it's just gonna advance to the next slide. This is the presentation mode. In order to type stuff, you have to go back to the edit mode, which I'll show you how to do in just a second. But you can get to the next page by clicking, just advancing forward, or down here in the navigation bar, you can go backwards or forward. Or you can go back to the divider. And from the divider, you can get back to the cover. And from the cover, you can get to any other divider in the notebook. You can go orange, you can advance, you can get back to the divider and back to the cover. You can go to pink, you can advance, you can get back to the divider, back to the cover. And notice I've always left this sort of a header up there for you that will allow you, I have a label for you to type the date. So if you're putting something in your notebook on a piece of paper, you can type the date up here. If you type the date on your paper, hey, that's fine too. But I always like to give people the opportunity to make it as neat as possible. So you can type the date up here. And then on the paper, that's where the heading would be, what you're talking about today. And then you can do your classwork. And then to get back to the divider, you just click on it. Maybe that one might not be working. Back to the cover. Let's go to blue, make sure that goes back. Yeah. Okay, so from there, you can get wherever you need to go. Pink's not working, so we might bypass pink altogether. I'll have to fix that link for my next class. I'll fix the link for you and have you make another copy before we get started, actually. Make sure orange works. Back. All right, orange is working. Let's make sure purple works. Yep. Okay, so this is your class notebook, and that's how it works. So I'm going to go back down to exit on your navigation toolbar down here. And when you click exit, that's where you'll be able to edit all this stuff. So if you need to like do some work, for example, and you need to do that in the tan category on the first page, then you put a text box up here for the date, and then you start writing any information you need to write for the day. That's how it works. Now, you will run out of paper. I've only given you like 3 pieces of paper. So every time you do some work and you fill up those pages and you feel like you're running out of paper, you just need to duplicate your last slide. So whatever the last piece of paper is, make sure it's always blank so that you can duplicate. Don't fill it up without first duplicating. So you just click on that and you go to duplicate slide. And what that will do, it will give you another blank piece of paper. So always keep a blank piece of paper in every tab. So when you fill a piece of paper up, duplicate a piece of paper underneath so that you always have an extra sheet. So you never run out of paper this way. And then on your pink one, it didn't seem like that one was working. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go over to mine. This is my digital notebook. I'm going to make sure that the pink one's working on this. Real quick, just while you're sitting there, so in case we need to make another copy, we can. I don't want you to have one with broken links. Let me get my cursor back here. Okay, so when I click on this, it should have a link. It does not. Slide 6. So what does pink do? Okay, so all I'm doing right now is I'm actually fixing, hopefully, I'm going to duplicate this slide like twice. And let me go in and make sure it works. And if it does, I will recopy this for you. And you can go in and make another copy and do the same thing you did before and delete the old one. Because I want your, yeah, okay, that works now. Okay, so that was a broken link. Glad I found that. I'll have to tell my first and second period before they start adding stuff to theirs. So let's save this. Now, what I want you guys to do, go back into Google Classroom and reopen that link. Since I saved it, it should work. Let me see. Just do it this way. I'm going to put this over on Google Classroom. Just click this and reopen it and rename it. Make the copy, rename it, and go from there. That way, you guys will have a fixed link because there was a broken link on there. I don't want to do that to you. We'll just have to like work together to try to fix it, and that'll just be too hard. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a link to this. Okay. And I'm just going to call this Revised Digital Notebook. And I'm going to do this for my first and second period as well. And I'm just going to tell you that there was a please reopen, make a copy of the document, rename it, okay, and redo any assignment related okay, you can copy and paste your first notebook. just wanted to fix this before we got too far into it. Okay, so if you'll go to Google Classroom, you'll see that that's on there for you. Just reopen it and resave it, and we'll start fresh with that notebook, and you can delete the other two. I would maybe go ahead and delete it from your Google Drive. It's simple to do. You just go in there and click on the three buttons and click remove, and then go back in and save it again. That way, everybody's on the same page and you don't have any broken links. When you get that done, what we're going to do is we're going to start with our textbook. You're going to stay on Google Classroom, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign something for you from the textbook. Why am I going to do that? That's how you log in. We learned the hard way first period that the company Pearson actually, I guess, sold out to another company, and they're not doing the logins the same way, and the website's actually changed a little bit too. I had to kind of figure out some stuff, which I'm still trying to figure out some things. It hasn't changed a lot. Like, it looks the same, but once you start using the tools, it's actually different. I did not know that, so I had to go in and kind of figure it out myself, and I'll do that a little bit more before I give you anything else. But I'm going to assign something to you on Google Classroom for your sign in to the book. I want to make sure that you can sign into that web page, that website, so that you can access your online book, because we're going to start talking about the dinner party tomorrow. So right now, if you're following me on the screen, all I'm doing is I'm just going in and I'm actually assigning you something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign this particular video, and I'm going to assign it to your class period, ELA Stars 3 and 4 from Google Classroom. The due date, it's going to start today and it's going to be done Friday. And the instructions are going to be to answer question at the end of the video in the green tab on your interactive notebook. Okay, and we're actually going to call this conflict in the green tab on your notebook. I just want to make sure, number one, can you use your notebook? Number two, are you being able to get into the textbook website and view the content that I'm sending out to you? So will you send your notebook back to me? No, you will not send your notebook back to me. But once you view the video, you can click turn it in, and that'll let me know that you've accessed the video, and I'm assuming that you're putting that in the notebook. Here's how the notebook works. Okay. When I say, for example, I want you guys to like turn your notebook in, I will throw out an assignment on Google Classroom that will say turn in notebook. From there, you will be able to click on the resources to get access to your assignment. It'll say like view assignments. Your Google Drive will open up and you'll click on your notebook. From there, you will send your notebook to me in an assignment, and I'll be able to look for all the things that I want to make sure that you've followed along with in class. So this will be one of those things. I will check mark the things that I think that you need in your notebook. This will be one of them. There will be bell ringers in there, and there will be some other class assignments. I will not let this run for a long period of time before I take your notebook up, and then you'll make a new notebook, or you'll just add to that notebook and just resubmit it again. And I'll be looking for additional things that I didn't grade before. Like I'll go down to, I know I've graded the first 5 or 6 pages in a tab. I'll just go down 5 or 6 pages and look for new stuff. Or we'll do completely new notebooks. It just depends on what we're doing at the time. But I won't let this run for more than a couple of weeks, or, progress report to end of grading period. But it won't be longer than that. It might go to a progress report, and then I'll grade what you have from progress report to the end of the grading period. So like 4 weeks. But that's about all the content that we need to put in the notebook before I grade it. Otherwise, it'll get too full and I won't be able to grade it. But to start out, I'm going to take a grade on it sooner than that. Like I might grade it at the end of the week on Friday to make sure that you've been keeping track of everything that we've done. just so I know that you're on task and that you can use your notebook before I start letting it go for the longer period of time. So here is a opportunity for you to manage your own classwork. Some of you will manage it positively. Some of you will do a really good job on your notebooks and you'll keep track of everything. Some of you will not do anything in your notebook that I ask you to do, and it will kill your grade. So I'm encouraging you, when I say put something in your notebook, I mean it, because it will hurt your grade. Those of you that are here, you guys already have, what's the word? You have an advantage over everyone else who's not here, because every day the same people miss, and they haven't been in my Zoom since school started. So, how are they going to access their class work? I guess they're watching Zoom videos on YouTube and they're going to try to catch up, but we'll see. Because starting now, it's going to start to hurt them. Because I've had really easy stuff up until right now. Now, when you have to start keeping track of a notebook and you have to access a book online, now it gets hard to manage if you're not actually in class figuring it out with the teacher, because they're not going to be able to get that from a YouTube video. And if you're watching the YouTube video at home and you've never been in Zoom right now, talking about you. Okay, sorry, had to just yell at them real fast. Okay, so this is what your online textbook will look like. So you have an assignment on Google Classroom. I'm actually going to go back to Google Classroom and I'm going to look and make sure it's there. Should be the very first thing that pops up. It's not, so I'm going to refresh and let's see if that helps. You may need to refresh as well. And yeah, so the very first thing that pops up is the new assignment on Savvas Realize, the big question video. And all you do is you click on that and it's going to take you to an assignment. And it's going to allow you to access this video that looks like this. And you're going to be able to watch the video. I'm going to go ahead and play the video on my screen just so everybody gets it. But you have to access the video from the website and click turn it in and send it back to me in order to get credit for it. So just because you're watching the video, those of you on YouTube, just because you're watching the video doesn't mean you get a good grade for it. You have to be able to manipulate the website, sign in with Google, and actually turn it in by clicking. I think there's a turn in button up here in the right hand side. But this is the video just for purposes of the Zoom recording, and anybody who may not be able to access it and still needs to answer the question in their notebook. This is just for purposes of the classroom, showing you how the videos work and all that stuff. That's all I'm doing right now. But I am going to go ahead and share my computer sound, and we're going to watch this video. It's 1 minute and 24 seconds long. And then I'm going to go into the book and show you the vocabulary for the week. And then I will let you go on your own independently and try to figure out how to watch the video and add the response to your writer's notebook.
Does every conflict have a winner? A conflict is a struggle between opposing forces.
That's foul, man. That's foul. That's foul, man. That's softball. That's softball.
Hey, come on. Red ball underneath. Let's go.
A conflict can be as small as a disagreement between friends about what movie to see.
That movie looks boring.
Boring? Are you kidding me? You want to see the girl movie.
Don't it at least be funny? We always see the one you want.
I have good taste in movies.
Whatever.
On the other hand, it can be as large as a civil war. When you struggle with a decision, you have a conflict within yourself.
3 motorists were found this morning after spending the night stuck on a snowy mountain road.
There are external conflicts, too. Some can be dangerous, like being caught in a snowstorm.
State road officials declined to comment on this.
Other conflicts, like a sports competition, can be challenging but exciting. When a conflict is worked out, it is resolved.
Come on. Yeah, it'll be fun.
All right, I guess.
Let's go. It's starting.
Different kinds of conflicts are resolved in different ways. Start thinking about the big question by identifying different types of conflict.
Okay, so that's actually the end question that you need to start thinking about. It's actually a statement telling you to do something. But what you need to do is identify different types of conflict in the green tab in your writer's notebook on the first page. And you would do this by maybe typing this in and giving me a date. So on your writer's notebook, you would go into the green section, and on the first page, you would then type maybe the date, and then you would type the question out. You have to add text boxes to do that. And you can change your font and all that stuff if you have a text box and you want to add a text box. And you can then change it to look like, I don't know, handwriting if you wanted to. I have Extensis fonts, so your fonts are going to be, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess less than mine. I have more than you, however that is said. More extensive, there we go. I have more extensive fonts than you do because I downloaded an add-on, which you can do as well. It's called Extensis Fonts. I don't know how that's spelled. Extensis, Extensis Fonts. There you go, if you want that. It will give you access to lots of fonts. So in your writer's notebook, do I care if you write in Times New Roman? No, this is not an essay. This is your writer's notebook. It's for you. You know, but to make it visible, you don't need to write in like symbols or something. So, and you can increase the size of your font, and then you can start typing. Types of conflict. And then go down and make a new text box and tell me what the types of conflict are. So that's kind of how you manipulate your writer's notebook, and it will automatically save. See up here, it says save to drive. So I'm gonna get rid of that, and it's gonna resave that so that I didn't really edit my notebook. But you're just gonna type in what you think the types of conflict are, or what you think some types of conflict are, or some situations about conflict are. So that's your job for today. And the way I'm assessing this for today is not, did you do it on your writer's notebook? I will have you probably share that with me tomorrow or the next day just to make sure you're doing it and I can see your writer's notebooks. But for right now, I want to make sure you can access the website and view the video. And then from there, I'm going to assume for right now that you've done the work in your writer's notebook. Okay. Any questions so far? Anybody have any questions? Looking at everybody, don't see any hands. Taylor, did you get all the information about the writer's notebook? I noticed you just logged back in.
It keeps me out after you were talking.
So do you know how to access your textbook, and do you know how to get onto your writer's notebook?
The textbook, yeah.
And the writer's notebook, were you able to get onto that, the digital notebook that I shared with you?
Yeah.
Were you with us when I told you about that pink link that was messed up and I told you to go back to Google Classroom and resave it?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you get to see the video on my screen?
No.
Okay, so probably the only thing you missed is me actually showing the video, which is the same video I assigned to you. So you'll be able to watch that video and respond to it on the green tab in that writer's notebook, just to make sure that you're able to do that. And all you do, I was showing them this little section up here is like to add your date. And then you can start adding text boxes to your paper. So you have to add text boxes as you go. You would just add a text box up here, add the date, add a text box on your paper and start typing. And I showed them a little add-on tool if you want to go download this. It's called Extensus Fonts. It's an add-on for Google Chrome. So I don't know if you guys can download add-ons. I'm assuming you can because some people use Bitmoji. But it's called Extensus Fonts, and it allows you to have like hundreds more fonts than Google Docs and Google Slides and Google Sheets will allow you to have. It gives you access to a bunch of other fonts, just so you can play around with your notebook and make it your own. Because again, I told them I didn't really care if it was Times New Roman in a notebook, because I get some sloppy notebooks. So if you wanted to kind of play around with it that way, you can. If you wanted to add stickers to your notebook, it's yours. Do what you want with it as long as it has my work in it. So if you wanted to even go back to like the cover page way up at the top, and like I know people like to write on their notebooks, you guys can add some stickers to that if you want to. It's up to you. Okay, so but with that said, I've given you an assignment on the Savvas page. That's your online textbook. You should be able to access that. And I've given you access to your digital writer's notebook. So you're taking your assignment from the textbook and you're putting a response into the writer's notebook just to make sure we can use both. And then the final thing I want to talk about today is just access to your vocabulary words for the story. This is a reader view of the textbook. So as I go through here, it allows me, I want to get rid of the search. Okay, it actually allows me to kind of look at the book. So I can go forward and it shows all of your vocabulary words. And there's an immersive reader inside the online tool of your textbook, which actually does something that it hasn't done in the past, which is kind of, well, it reads the story to you, but now it also reads the vocabulary words to you. So I can click on this. Maybe not in my view. I think I'm in my view. Your view allows you to click on it and it will actually read it to you. So if I were in the student view right now, it would read those vocabulary words to you. And I will probably get into the student view to show you guys anything in the future, because if I'm in your view, you can see it from your perspective. But if you're in my view, you get access to all this marginal notes that you don't need. So let's kind of go back. Let me move this out of the way. Let's go back and access the student view. Okay, so this is the student edition. I'm going to go ahead and click on it. It's going to give me access to your book, and I'm going to go to the table of contents, and I'm going to go to conflict. And the first stories that we're going to talk about, The Dinner Party and Rikki Tikki Tavi, are all about conflict. And they're really good stories to read. And simultaneously, we are going to be looking at some literary elements in a PowerPoint. I'm trying to transfer it over to Google Slides so I can use Pear Deck, but if I don't have time to do that over the next day or so, I'm just going to use the PowerPoint and not use Pear Deck. If you don't know what Pear Deck is, it's really cool. Okay, so if you go forward, you're going to get access. This is your view now. So you will see the vocabulary words pop up. And these little icons up here are for your writer's notebook. This writer's notebook lives online. It's inside your book. Don't click this because it will take you to an online writer's notebook that I don't use. You use my online writer's notebook, the one that's in Google Slides. This one will take you to one that lives inside the book. Sometimes I will pull worksheets from it, and I might have you access one of them from time to time. But for the most part, don't click on that. Okay, but you can click on the words, and they will actually read the pronunciation to you and give you the vocabulary for that word.
Attitude. Noun. person's opinions and feelings about someone or something.
Okay, so as we progress through these vocabulary words, I'm going to read them to you today, right now, but we're going to come in contact with them more through the week, and you're going to have worksheets or assignments, not necessarily a worksheet, but an assignment that deals with your vocabulary words.
Challenge. Noun. Something that tests your skills and abilities.
Okay,
Communication. Noun. Process of sharing information or expressing thoughts and feelings. Conflict. Noun. Struggle between opposing forces.
and I kind of picked conflict because right now we're having a conflict of interest. Some people want to come to school, some people don't. Some people want football, some people don't. Some people want us to come to school and manipulate the scale and change the color codes that the governor's put into place just so we can like fudge the numbers so that we can come to school, so that we can play football. Some people don't even care about the academics that are involved. They just want to play football, which is understandable. But looking at it as a parent and my wife who voices her frustrations every day about how unorganized this is and how hard it is to go between different schedules for kids that are in like a different school, maybe a grade school versus the middle school versus the high school, and nobody's on the same schedule and lunches aren't at the same time, or some teachers are a little more advanced than other teachers and maybe understand how to do this Zoom kind of stuff, and some teachers kind of don't, and there's a lot of conflict. So that's kind of why we're talking about conflict.
Opposition. Noun. Person, group, or force that tries to prevent you from accomplishing something.
Okay, sort of like when Rick Grimmett went to the board's office and sort of tried to fight for coming back to school, so that on the underlying side, so that we could play football, but also so that students could get back to a normal schedule and a regular schedule, and everyone could get back to their daily lives. Because at the end of the day, parents are still going to work. People are still going to Walmart, so people are still going to the mall. So it's not like everything's shut down. We're still able to go to restaurants. So I guess people are looking at it through that point of view. Like, well, we're able to do all this other stuff. I mean, we're still social distancing, but, we can still social distance in school. Yeah, probably. But, myself, my personal opinion is when we go back to school, if we start putting all kinds of people together in a classroom or in a building, I think the numbers are going to spike, just like if people go to church or, when you're at the mall, you very rarely are in contact with those people and only for a short period of time. But when we're at school, the people that we're with all day, and there's just a chance for failure, I think. But regardless, there's two sides to every story, and I feel where my wife's coming from with the frustration. So
Outcome. Noun. Way a situation turns out. Result or consequence.
So what that means is, is there an outcome? Will there be a way to fix the problem? Whatever the outcome is, whether it be positive or negative, that's the consequence that we have to face. If we send people back to school, the outcome might be the numbers start to spike and people start getting quarantined because they contracted COVID-19. Or it might be that nobody gets sick and they realize, oh, we can start sending more people back to school. And then, instead of half and half classes, they go back to regular classes and we gain some sort of normalcy. And that will happen at some point in time. We will gain normalcy. Will it be sometime in the near future? I don't know. It may be after the first of the year or next summer before we gain normalcy. And then you have things like this.
Resolution. Noun. Working out of a problem or conflict.
So is there a resolution? Sometimes, does every conflict have a winner? That's the big question that our unit is going to look at. Does every conflict have a winner? So in this case, COVID-19 is the winner. But, we want to try to find a sense of normalcy, and we want to try to find a compromise with the football problem and the schooling problem, the academics problem, and the keeping students at home problem. Those are all problems that all have certain outcomes that right now there is no specific resolution for. But we can maybe do this.
Understanding. Noun. Agreement.
So if we can come to an understanding, everybody gets on the same page, then things start to get easier. For example, if every teacher used the same program, or if every password was the same, or if some teachers only used Zoom logins that were generated one time instead of multiple Zoom logins, it might be a little easier, or vice versa. Or, there's a lot of ors there. Either way, it's a
Challenge. Noun. Something that tests your skills and abilities.
So we have challenges that we face, and this needs to be positive. Our
Attitude. Noun. Person's opinions and feelings about someone or something.
We have to keep sort of a positive attitude about the entire situation. And in the end, this is what's important.
Communication. Noun. Process of sharing information or expressing thoughts and feelings.
Right. So you've come in contact with these vocabulary words, in some cases more than once, and I feel that repetition is important. I like to use things 3-4 times before I feel that you've understood it. So you will see these vocabulary words again very shortly. And we will start to maybe grade them and take a quiz on them in Google Classroom. So if you want to access this page for your vocabulary words, this page is actually page 3 right here. I'll highlight that. Page 3 in your online notebook or in your online textbook. It's introducing the big question, page 3. You can search that right here in your search bar when you access your book. Otherwise, we'll come back to it again. You can review the video, obviously, and it will allow you some repetition of that and some study time. That'll be on YouTube, which you can find from the virtual classroom right here. If you click on the TV in the top right-hand corner, as soon as that loads, that will take you to the website that is YouTube, and it will pull up all of the Zoom videos that you have missed, plus some tutorials. I have a couple tutorials for you guys, plus I have a couple tutorials for teachers that ask me, how did you do that? Because I get that all the time. How did you do that? Well, I just made a video of how I did it so they can look at it instead of me just kind of taking them through it. This is easier. But if you'll look on here, you'll notice that the Zoom meetings are on here. I didn't record and put every single Zoom meeting on here because some of them were unimportant, but anything that had an assignment in it or anything that's pertinent to the class, that's the important part. So you will go in here and you'll access those Zoom meetings if you need to, such as this one, so that you can review. Because again, if you're here in class, you're getting the important information. If you're not in class, I have to record it so that others can get it. But again, they're not in class, so it's going to get hard. With that said, I'm going to shut up and I'm going to give you guys opportunity for any questions, if I see any hands, or I'm going to let you go. So I'm just going to scan the screen. I'm not seeing any hands. So show me a thumbs up then. If everybody understood and could access everything and think they have a grasp and a good understanding of what we talked about today. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Thumbs up. Thumbs ups, thumbs ups. Oh man, okay, I'm seeing a couple thumbs up. Catherine Vest, was that a sideways thumbs up or is that a thumbs up? Like 100% thumbs up, or are you like kind of on the fence?
I'm a little on the fence.
Okay, is there something I can help you with, or you think you can figure it out on your own, or what can I do to help you?
I just think it's where I'm really tired and my brain's not working, but I'd say once I actually wake up, I'll understand.
Okay, so you think you can get it on your own. You know how to access the book, you know what the assignment is, and you know how to do the writer's notebook. Do you know how to do those things?
Yes.
And you can kind of work through how to edit them and work through all that stuff yourself. Okay. All right. Anybody else on the fence or need me to talk about something or? All right, then I'll let you guys go, and I'll see you in either AA or tomorrow. So in AA, remember all we're doing is lockers. If you haven't worked on that, this is a good time to get that done. All right, so I'll see you guys later.